Hello everyone, welcome back to Turner's Digest. My name is Alex, otherwise known as For the Z, and this is episode 2. I didn't do one last week just because there wasn't a lot of news that came out last week. I kind of start aggregating things that I see that pop up that I think would be interesting to discuss on the podcast. There just wasn't enough. I had like 3 points that were originally popping up, and now I'm seeing, I think, like 8. I had a brief discussion in one of our Discords, seeing if people would prefer a more weekly cadence, even if there's less content, or kind of skip a week if there wasn't a lot of material. And I think I'll try and do weekly. We'll see. I'm kind of lazy. So if these keeps picking up and people keep thinking they're interesting and I see a lot of listeners, then it'll give me motivation to actually release one weekly. But without further ado, we can jump into this week's update. As always, there'll be a written companion alongside this on my website at fearthez.wordpress.com, as well as on the Simple Finances blog. Those will be linked in the show description as well. So our first update is an update to the Paceline credit card. If you listen to last week's discussion, not last week, but the last episode, the first episode, I discussed Paceline. It was a credit card that gave you some incentives for being active. In particular, they would give you a monthly statement credit towards an Apple Watch if you did some weekly activity goals. They announced that they were shutting down, but there was some speculation as to whether those monthly credits would be paid out or they would just cease being paid since Paceline was shutting the credit card down. And they released an update saying that by March 31st, you will receive a statement credit for the full remaining balance up to $429 of your Apple Watch. So for those people that did have the card, you're not out of luck. You are going to receive prorated credit for your Apple Watch. So that's always good news. I'm glad that they aren't just leaving you guys out high to dry. For our next update, there's a bank bonus that I thought was pretty interesting that I thought a lot of people could find use out of. There's a Wells Fargo $325 checking bonus that's available online and nationwide. Doctor of Credit always has a great write-up on it, so I'll just link it there. But it requires $1,000 direct deposit and to be deposited to the account within 90 days of the account opening, and they seem to pay out pretty quickly. I shared my data points. I recently got paid out on this in the Doctor of Credit comments. I opened the account on November 25th of last year. My first $500 direct deposit was on December 2nd. My second $500 direct deposit was on December 16th. And then I just let the account sit for a couple months. And then on February 24th, I received my promotional credit of $325. And I think I've already closed that account. I can't remember at this point. Let's see. Is my Wells Fargo account closed? Nope, it's still open. It's currently sitting at $825. I'll close out at some point. I don't believe there's an early termination fee for it. There is a fee of $10 if your balance is below $500. So I just kept it at $501 until I received my bonus, and I haven't closed the account yet. I usually go through spurts of getting motivated to close all of them. I have 2 more bank account bonuses that are pending payout. So probably when those do pay out and their termination period is over, I'll probably do kind of a large closeout of all my accounts that are lingering. But for now, they're just sitting there. So that's a pretty easy bonus. If you want to hit it, I thought it paid out pretty quickly, and it was a good one to jump on. While we're talking about Wells Fargo, they're also having a $525 savings bonus, which is in branch only, which is a little annoying. But the requirements are to open up a savings account. You have to be a new savings account customer. So even if you have the checking, you can do the savings. And you have to deposit $25,000 within the first 30 days and then hold it for 90 days. So doing some math, I didn't do it, but someone in the Doctor of Credit comments did. it works out to, I believe, around 11% APY on your balance for holding it through the period. So, yeah, quoting Mark E, I'll give a link to his comment as well. The APY on this offer comes out to 12.9% if you hold the funds for the bare minimum 60 days. This includes the base 0.15% interest that the account earns. More realistic 70-day holding period for those wanting to be cautious about not screwing up the timing window comes out to 11.1%. Not a bad deal in my opinion, and I concur. If you are currently holding an account that is earning 5%, it'll cut out of that. So I think that a 5% account over that day will probably earn like $200 to $300. So you'll only be making a net of maybe $225, but it's still more than you would get for just sitting in that 5% or 4% APY account. So I'll leave a link to that one as well. Next, we have Target Circle Week. It's actually ending tomorrow, but Target's running a Target Circle Week similar to Amazon's like Prime Day. They kind of extended out to a couple of days longer, but Target's doing a Prime Week where they're doing some exclusive deals. I got a 5% off your total in-store purchase. I also had one for a birthday, so that actually stacked to be 10% off. They're also doing, I don't know if it's for everyone, but I received a $15 off a $100 purchase, which I believe also stacks with the 5% discount. So if you're a frequent Target shopper or there's some things you could pick up, make a trip and see what you can get. I tried to go to Target and spend $100, but I had a hard time. I could only reach to about $70 or $80. And I just didn't want to spend things just for the purpose of spending, so I didn't use that $100 coupon. But some of you folks with families or with larger expenses might have an easier time hitting that. Target's also offering for all Circle members, which is just like you have a Target account, a free TripAdvisor account, TripAdvisor Plus. It's a $99 value. I don't really know what the benefits are. They quote that they give you member-only savings on 1,000 hotels worldwide, 10% off of experiences, perks, and benefits from partners, and travel advice via text. I don't know if I'll ever use it, but free is free. One thing to note, Doctor of Credit says to make sure that you cancel before the end of the year. When I signed up for it, it automatically didn't set up auto-renewal, so I don't think it's going to be a problem. I also used a feature of Enzo, which is going to come up later in our discussion, but a ghost card. So I used a debit card that's quote-unquote a ghost card and gave them that card number, and then I just deleted that card, so that card no longer exists, so they have an invalid card number. I know some people have said that if they try and charge that card and it bounces, you might be on the hook for it, but I'm not really too concerned about it. But if you're interested in a TripAdvisor Plus account, it's free for a year for Target members for at least this week. Looks like the offer is available to redeem from March 5th to September 5th, so you have some time. When you do sign up for it, they generate a promo code, so maybe that's what they mean by offers available to redeem. Maybe you have to generate the code first, but something to look into. As I said before, the Target Circle Week ends on March 11th, so there's still some time to go in there and get some deals. While we're talking about Target, I recently went through and opened up a new Target Red card, specifically the debit card. I had one for a couple years, and when you do sign up for them, often they have a $40 promo where you sign up for the card, you spend $40 and get $40 back. Those are actually churnable. I believe you have to close the card for like 3 months in order to be eligible for it again. I couldn't find the exact terms for it, but it's something along those lines, 3 months or like 6 months from when you receive the bonus, not for when you close the card. So I opened the card a long time ago. I closed it a couple months ago, and from March 5th to April 8th, they're doing the get $40 off of a $40 shopping trip on the Target Red card. So I closed my Target Red card, opened up a new one, and I'm waiting for my coupon to come in. Interesting thing about that coupon is you can actually use it twice. You can use it once online and once in store. I don't know if that's intended or not, but it comes out to an $80 sign-up bonus for a debit card that gives you pretty good rewards anyway. If you shop at Target, it gives you 5% off. So I would suggest looking into churning that. If you are looking for a free $80, you can do it every so often. The next topic we're going to discuss is American Express has some excellent increased referral offers. So they have some things including for the Platinum Personal Card, get 150,000 MR points and also a $200 sign-up bonus with it. So if you spend $6,000 within the first 6 months of opening the card, you'll get 150,000 membership reward points. And in addition to that, you'll earn $200 in back in statement credit on a purchase during the first 3 months. So that's just a blanket $200. The gold card gets 90,000 points in the first 6 months for a $4,000 spend and also has the $200 statement bonus. And then the Blue Cash Preferred has a $400 back and waived annual fee. So you spend $400, you receive a $400 sign-up bonus after you spend $3,000 in the first 6 months. I believe that's the highest offer ever for the Blue Cash Preferred. You can always downgrade it product change it to the Blue Cash every day. There's also non-annual fee paths for the Platinum and the Gold as well if you're interested in it. So if you've been in the market for a new credit card, that's a really good offer to jump on. There's a referral link thread that Dr. Credit has. You can also use some Discord servers if you're part of the Simple Finance. People would be happy to share their referral code for you. So if you're interested in it, definitely jump on it. It's a great offering. Some news that came out today, actually, was that Silicon Valley Bank is under insolvency and the FDIC will retain all the assets from the Silicon Valley Bank for later disposal. So basically, Silicon Valley Bank doesn't have enough money to make ends meet, and they are going into insolvency. I'm not going to claim to be a bank expert at all. I'll give a link to a really good write-up about what happened there, but it is interesting. Is a weird term to use for it, but it's concerning and interesting at the same time. It looks like they are a bank that a lot of fintechs put their venture capitalist funds into, and they wound up buying some long-term loans, and then with the rockiness of the economy as well as the loan rates going up and venture capital funds being liquidated very quickly, the long-term loans that they purchased, they kind of went bottoms up. The rates were very old compared to the new ones, which were much higher, and all these fintechs are trying to pull out their assets. So SVB had to take a large loss on a lot of their loans and can't make ends meet, and FDIC insurance has to step in. Again, I'm not going to claim to know too much about the information, just sharing the news. I'll give a good link to a write-up of what was going on there, but super interesting. It makes some people a little weary of having their money with fintechs, but any fintech that I have holds all the deposits with an actual bank that is FDIC insured, so I'm not too concerned there. It might just be I might not be able to access the assets for a little while, but that's not too large of a concern as long as I'm not losing the money, in my opinion. Next, we have Chase credit card bonuses are going to be lowered starting on March 19th. So if you are looking to open up a Chase card, keep in mind that they're going to be lowering some of their sign-up bonuses and some of their larger cards. Some of the cards that are included in that lowering of sign-up bonuses include the Freedom Flex and Freedom Unlimited cards. Used to be $200 with a 5% grocery store component where you can get 5% back on grocery purchases for a year. I think it was up to like $6,000 in spend, but that 5% is being dropped off. The Slate card 0% APR goes down from 21 months to 18 months. United Explorer card goes from 65,000 points to 60,000 points, but there is lower spend that's required for it, so it might be an overall better offer. It'll be a better ratio. And the Inc. business cards going down from 900 to 750. So if you're interested in some of these cards, you might want to jump on them now. Chase is probably expecting some turbulence in the market, so they're being a little bit less aggressive, or maybe they've hit some of their metrics on some of their cards and they don't need to offer such valuable sign-up bonuses to their customers. So we'll see if other banks follow suit. And while discussing Chase, there's also Doctor of Credit's reporting that starting on March 19th, Chase Sapphire Preferred is offering 90,000 points for an in-branch sign-up bonus when you spend $4,000. Sorry, it breaks down to 80,000 points after $4,000 to spend in the first 3 months, and then an additional 10,000 bonus points after spending $6,000 in total purchase in the first 6 months. So a total of 90,000 points. We saw last year this go up to 100,000, I believe, and then I believe it could be valued at $1,250 with some transfer partners, or previously they had pay yourself back, which is pretty high, but that's been slashed a little bit. So if you're in the market for a Chase Sapphire Preferred, or your clock is reset, you've hit that 4-year mark, it's not a bad time to hop on this. You could potentially be missing out. I think on the highest offer was 100K, so you're only missing out on 10,000 points, which isn't too bad if you want to lock this in when it comes out and open up in branch on March 19th. We did notice in the past that some of these offers that we've seen, these in-branch sign-up bonuses, do eventually normally make it to public offerings and potentially do increase in the future. In the past, we saw the offering at 80,000 points. I believe it was in-branch only, and then they made that public, and then I believe it was 100K in-branch only, and then I think that even went public. So just something to keep in mind. And then other interesting happenings. I don't know if I discussed them last week. I did discuss them last week. Enzo is a smaller fintech, and they previously offered cash back for rent purchases, for rent payments, and some 1% back for some PayPal purchases, including some PayPal bill pay, and some super competitive interest rates on their checking account. But normally Enzo pays cash back on the 5th business day of the month, and that's come and gone by 4 days now, and we haven't seen the cash back hit our accounts just yet. And Enzo's CEO, Jeremy, did give an update in Discord and just say that he was apologizing for the radio silence and that he should have some updates soon. So I'm not sure what that means, but we'll see exactly what comes of that. I just figured I'd give that an update since I referenced Enzo last week. And then one more thing, it's much more location dependent, but the state I live in, Massachusetts, just legalized online sports betting. So a lot of these online sports betting companies offer some crazy sign-up bonuses. Some of them, like BetMGM, offer $1,000 back in the form of free bets if you bet up to $1,000 and you lose your bet. There's plenty of Reddit threads and discussions on people using these sign-up bonuses to come out on top. You can, when you do one like BetMGM, when you bet $1,000, if you do lose it, you get 5 evenly split up versions of whatever your bet was in forms of free bets. So you get 5 $200 free bets, and then you could use those and try and average back up to make your money back. There's some easier ones to do as well. There's a sign-up bonus from DraftKings that's, I believe it's bet $5 and get $200 back, which is the $200 comes in the free bet, in the form of a free bet, so you do have to bet again. But when I originally signed up for DraftKings, a couple of years ago, I did one of these offers, and I think it was some point in college, so years ago, I did the sign up, make a $5 bet and get a $200 free bet back, and I've since then have had house money in my account. I frequently, I wouldn't say frequently, but I bet probably, I don't know, once a month. And now that sports betting wasn't legal in Massachusetts and I moved here, probably once every other month when I go home, like a $5 bet here, a $20 bet there. DraftKings and other sports books also have some promos, so they'll often do like hammer the over or some kind of promo just to get you to go into the app and check things out. And I always take part of those because they're basically free bets. And right now, I don't know if it's available to all users or just existing users or new users, but there's 2 bets that are what they call no-brainer bets, which I agree are no-brainer bets. There's one that it's a max bet of $50 for the Nuggets to hit a three-pointer at all during the game. And it's plus 100, so you bet 50, you get $100 back. And there's another bet that's for the Celtics to just score a point, which is also plus 100. So a max bet of 50, bet 50, you win 100. So I did both of those at the max of 50, and barring some historic event happening, those both bets should hit, so I get a free $100. So just something to keep in mind if you do have gambling addictions or you're worried about gambling. Obviously, don't take these offers up. They want you to get in. They want you to sort of get addicted to it and just start gambling more than you probably should. So if you think that that's something you could succumb to, obviously don't go for this. There's help online. There's plenty of hotlines you can dial into, some gamblers hotlines. So keep that in mind. But I personally don't have an issue with it, and I think that these are pretty good lucrative opportunities to make a little money on the side. And that's about it for today's episode. I'm surprised that this has gone on for over 20 minutes at this point. Let me know what you think. Like I said, all this will be listed in the show notes as well as on my websites. And I'll be trying to do this on a weekly basis. I don't know exactly what date. I had said Wednesday, but today's a Friday, so it's going to go up today. And we'll see if I do one next week. I'll maybe try and do a little shorter ones because if you can't tell, I'm kind of out of breath from talking for 20 minutes. So we'll see what happens for next week. Maybe it'll be a little bit lighter. Regardless, I hope you have a nice weekend. Hope you had a nice week. Hope you have a nice week coming up. If you have any pointers or feedback, please reach out to me. I have a public email of churnersdigest@gmail.com. You can email me there or find me on Discord or Reddit at Fear the Z. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.